Lina, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I am fine, thank you God. Thanks God because you're always active.
I have to because I don't have the luxury of time.
This is it. You don't have enough time, yes.
I'm nervous
No,
because
go
the
on.
exam, yes, will be on Saturday. So
Yes.
I haven't started with the writing yet, which is the most challenging part in the exam.
The most challenging and the most important module, to be honest.
Yes,
You don't have to be afraid, Lina, because if you want to be afraid and panic, you will not be able to focus on the exam, please.
yes, I will do my best. I will try.
Yes, you have to, please, because this is extremely important. How is your school anyway?
Fine.
Thanks God.
Yes, I have to go.
So let me share the screen, Lena, and let me talk about the most important module, to be honest, which is writing. And again, Lena, because we are, to be honest, non-native speakers, because we are especially living in the Arab countries, we find writing is really challenging, as you said, because we don't do too many things we have to do in writing. Again, because this is, according to me, the most important module. Okay, let me open the file and let's discuss the writing module. Lina, in the writing module, you have two tasks. One is writing the letter, and second, you have to write the essay. But in the academic, no, both tasks you have to write an essay in task one and an essay in task two. So this is what makes the general test little easier, which is writing the letter. And to be honest, writing the letter is little easier than writing the first essay in the academic test. Okay. Let's discuss the first form of writing the letter, which is the informal letter. To be honest with you, Lynn, I have three kinds of letters I have to focus on, which are number one, I have the informal letter, I have the semi-formal letter, and I have the formal letter. If you are able to write the informal letter, Lena, and the formal one, it will be really easy for you to write the semi-formal letter because in the semi-formal letter you have to add only some things because absolutely it depends on the speaker or the addressee that you are writing the letter to. But to be honest, it's not that hard because writing the letter is, to be honest, it is really interesting. And I'm sure that you will be able to write a perfect letter. Not only will you able to write the letter, but even the good essay. Okay. So don't forget we have three kinds of letters. Let's discuss today the writing the informal letter. The main difference, Amrina, between the formal and informal is the language and the tone that you're going to use in your writing. Before explaining, Lina, the letter, let me explain the rubric that the examiner is going to follow just to check your writing and to give you the mark or the band that you really deserve. Okay, if I want to, let's talk about band 9 now. Band 9 is talking that you have to achieve the full task. What does that mean? You have to fully satisfies or answers all the requirements. This is the most important thing, Lena. You have to fully answer the question. Not only to be honest in writing, but in speaking, you have to fully answer the question because this is the main goal, Lena, in writing and in speaking. So I'm going to teach you the best way to fully answer any bullet point in writing in the three kinds of letters. So this is the first goal. We have to fully satisfies or answers the questions. Number two, I have to clearly present a fully developed response. This is extremely important. Okay, now let's talk about the second section, which is coherence and cohesion. If you want to ask me, what is the meaning of coherence or cohesion? Let me open this file for you. Not Lina, to be honest, it's not only in writing the letter. If you want to write any piece of writing in English language, you have to follow the coherence and the cohesion. Let me open this file for you just to show you the two meanings of the both of them. Yes, that's it. No, no, it's not. Let me read. That is it. Thank you, God. That is it. Okay. Now, again, Lena, if you want to write any piece of writing, it's not only in letter, but if you want to write an email, a letter, report, article, or even essay, you have to follow these things because these are the most important things in any kind of writing. First of all, Lena, your writing should be well written. I mean, you have to write the full sentences. You don't have to misuse in any subjects or verbs because this is extremely important. If you want your writing to be well written, you have to follow the perfect writing, which is your meaning should be full, Lena, and the sentences should be complete. So these are the two things you don't have to forget if you want again to write any piece of writing. Now let's talk about coherence. The meaning of coherence, your writing should be comprehensible. What do I mean? Lena, if I want to read your letter, I have to understand your letter. I have to understand the meaning. I have to understand your ideas, your info. I have to understand everything. Don't let me please confused. Don't give me short answer or maybe don't give me missing answer. I need to understand you. So please, you have to fully, number one, answer the question because this is extremely important. Next, the writing should be readable because Lina, you're going to apply for the paper-based. Please, your writing should, you have to use good handwriting. You don't have to use in the connecting words because, to be honest with you, Lina, because nowadays I'm teaching some students, these students are French educated, and because they are French educated, they write in connecting words. Please don't do that. Don't do that in the final exam because you will lose your marks. So your words should be separated and your handwriting should be readable and understandable. The third thing and the most important thing about coherence, you have to use the correct connection, not only in words, but in sentences. Here, Lina, you have to follow the subordinating conjunctions, the um, the adverbials, for example, the fanboys, the therefore, because all the conjunctions or connectors, you have to use them in a good way just to be able to not only connect your words, but but just to connect your sentences. In this way, you will achieve the coherence that the examiner is really looking for. Number two, absolutely, I have to follow the completion. I mean, I have to write, as I told you, my writing should be well developed, well written. I have to write enough ideas. Please don't let me confused, as I told you. And the sentences, as I told you, should be complete. I mean, complete, you have to use the subject verb, the complement of the sentence. You have to use variety of sentences again, because this is really important just to achieve the coherence that the examiner again wants. Now, after that, you have to follow the order of writing. What do I mean, Amlina, by order? I know some students, to be honest, they don't follow the order of writing. If you want to ask me what is the chronological order here, let's imagine that in the letter, Amlina, you have three bullet points you have to write about. The meaning of order, you don't have to start writing in the second bullet point, then go up to write about the first one. Then after that, Maybe you want to write about the third bullet point, because in this way you will destroy the order and you will destroy the chronological order, and absolutely you will be penalized and you will get the zero on writing. So please follow the order that the examiner is going to ask you. Number one, number two, number three. Please don't miss writing any of these bullet points. And you have to be logical in writing just to achieve the order that, again, the examiner needs. Okay, now the most important thing, which is unity. What do I mean by unity, Lina? Let's imagine that the examiner is going to ask you just to um, for example, explain the party. You have only to explain the party. Don't talk about anything else except for explaining the party, because the meaning of unity is writing or talking or explaining about one main idea. So please, you have to stick with the rules. You have to only answer the question that is asked for you. Don't please add any irrelevant information, because again, you will destroy the unity. So if the question is asked for you, please only ask the question in a full way. Don't write anything irrelevant to the question, because again, you will destroy the unity if you're writing, and absolutely you will lose your marks. So these are the four steps, Lina, you have to follow again, just to achieve the coherence and cohesion, just to be able again to gain the band that you want. Okay, now let's take a look at the third section of the rubric that absolutely the examiner is going to follow. Okay, lexical resources. Absolutely, Lina, the most, or not the most, let me say the worst thing that the writers, to be honest, are doing most of the time, repeating the same words all the time. Please try to avoid repetition. Lina, believe me, repetition will kill your writing, will make your writing really weak. Don't please repeat anything, even though if you want to repeat the same meaning, for example, if you want to say take over, the meaning of take over is an idiom. If you want to say take over, for example, uh, you can say defeat. Maybe Linus, maybe you want to write defeat. Let's imagine that you want to write defeat, and maybe you want to you repeat it in the second paragraph. Don't repeat the same vocab. Try to search for another vocab for the same meaning again, just to avoid repetition, because repetition again will kill your writing. So please don't do that. Another example, if you want to say start again, instead of saying start again, because maybe you want to mention the same idea, please try to use different words. So instead of saying start again, you can say start over. Notice that start over and start again have the same meaning. So in this way, the examiner will notice that you know uh, um, much vocab and you are able just to write the way you want. Because Lina, I still remember that when I was um, at the university, I had a problem in translation. We were studying translation, and to be honest, this subject was hard for me. I still remember that I asked the professor that, please, professor, I really need to pass and to graduate. My mark is not that good. What was the problem of me? He told me, your problem is that the language controls you. If you want to pass, you have to control the language. What did the examiner mean that time? I noticed that the examiner was telling me the same things that I'm trying to tell you. Don't use the same thing all the time. Try to be free using variety of vocab, variety of words again, because your goal, I mean, is just to overcome the language and to control the language. Please don't let the language controls you, because you will be stuck and you will stop writing at the end of the road. Okay. Now here there is something I need to mention, not only in writing, Lina, but in reading, which is slips and errors. What is the difference between slips and errors? Lina, because we are human beings, and even me sometimes, if I want to write fastly, because Lina, you only have 20 minutes to finish writing the letter, because you are writing fastly, for example, maybe you want, let's imagine that you want to write care. Instead of writing care, maybe you wrote car. Again, that does not because you don't know, but because you are writing fastly, it's something normal to miss writing some words. If you want to write car instead of care, so notice that the meaning is fully changed. In this way, it will not be a slip, but it will be error. You will be penalized. But in other example, if you want to write science, for example, again, because you are writing fastly, maybe you miss or you did not write the C in science here. This is a slip. If you want to ask me why this is a slip, because if you want to look for this word in the dictionary, you will not find a meaning for this word. So it is a lexical gap. If this word is a lexical gap, I mean, there is no meaning in dictionary, it will be a slip, don't worry. The examiner will not consider that as a mistake. But if the mistake changed the whole meaning, so it will be error. Please, you have to be aware of that because this is extremely important. Again, it's not because you don't know, but because you are writing fastly. It's the same here, the error and slips. You have to be aware of that. Notice the grammatical range and accuracy. Please, Lina, this is extremely important. You have to stick with the tense that the examiner or the letter is going to tell you. Don't use, please, the past tenses when the letter is talking about the present tenses. And don't again use the past tenses when the letter is talking or is saying that you have to use the future tenses because again, all the meaning will be changed. This is the meaning of grammatical range, sorry, and accuracy in tenses and grammar. And absolutely, I have to follow the grammatical rules. For example, if if I want to use plural, I have to add s for some nouns. Maybe I have irregular plurals. For example, instead of saying um, for example, man, the plural of man is men, it's not mans. So please, these are the grammatical rules that you have to follow again just to achieve the band that you are looking for. Okay. So now let's discuss the writing the letter, which is informal. The next page. Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about the prompt. The meaning of the prompt, Amrina, is the question that you will be asked in the letter. You have to read it carefully to understand it. Don't begin writing until Lina fully understand the prompt because if you want to misunderstand the prompt, you will write a different letter and absolutely you will be penalized as I told you. Okay, now let's try to take a look at this example. This is the prompt here. These are the instructions that I have to read first. Number one, you should spend about only 20 minutes in this task. So, Lina, in the task one, you have 20 minutes to finish writing the letter, and you will have 40 minutes to finish writing the essay. The overall minutes will be 60, and you have only 1 hour to finish writing reading the writing module. This is number one. Number two, in writing the essay, you will get 6 band out of 9, and the letter you will have 3. So again, the overall will be 9. This is the band of writing, speaking, listening, and reading. Okay. So let's read the prompt and let's know what is the best way to solve or to write the best letter for this prompt. Okay. Now the prompt is saying a friend of mine, maybe, who lives in another country has invited. The number one, Amdina, that I have to take a look is the tense. Notice that this party, wait for me, party invitation. This invitation, something happened in the near past. So here it is the present perfect. Again, please don't use the future tenses or the past perfect, for example, because this is something wrong. So this is the tense. I have to stick with the tense. It's not a must to use the present simple all the time. No, I can use simple past I can use present perfect, but please don't use the future tenses because again, you will misuse or using the tense in this way again, you will lose your marks. So number one, please take a look at the tense. So here the tense is present perfect. Okay. So a friend who lives in another country has invited you to come and stay with him or her on your next holiday. Okay? You are too busy to accept the invitation. This is the problem. Now I have to read it carefully. Why I have to read it, Lina? Because I have to decide if the letter is formal, semi-formal, or informal. So when finishing reading, Lina, the prompt, the second step after deciding the tense, I have to decide the form of the letter. Again, if it is formal, semi-formal, or informal. How do I know, Amina, if the letter is formal, semi-formal, or informal? First of all, is a letter for a friend. Dina, if you want to write a letter for a friend, for a boyfriend, for your brother, so the letter will be informal. What do I mean again, Amina? I mean, you can say some jokes in writing. You can use funny tune, for example. You can ask many questions, but in the formal, you cannot do that. If the letter is for a professor, Dina, or a teacher, this is extremely formal. You cannot say any jokes. You cannot say any funny expressions because you have to be polite. Now, how can I write the formal letter? The more polite you are, the better your writing will be. So this is the first thing that you have to keep in mind. Okay. Number two, notice that I have dear. Because I have dear, I will immediately keep in mind that the letter is formal. How do I know that if the letter is semi-formal, for example? If the letter is semi-formal, you will notice the nicknames of Mr., Mrs. Okay, what do I mean again? Maybe you will write a letter for your neighbor, for example. Let's imagine that your neighbor is trying to build something just to cover your window, maybe, or just to make something bad in the road across to your home, for example. Maybe you want to write a letter for him just to tell him, please don't do that because you will harm my plants, for example, or you would prevent the sunshine just to be inside my room, for example. So this is semi-formal. I'm going absolutely to tell you the things that you have to know. So the secret here is dear and a friend. Because I have dear, a friend, here it is informal. But if I have Mr., Mrs., this is semi-formal. But the formal, you will have sir, dear sir, or dear madam. So in this way, it is extremely formal because maybe the sir or madam, again, Amlina will be your professor, will be your teacher, will be your boss. So you cannot say any jokes because you will be impolite in this way. Okay. So the second step, Lina, I have to decide if the letter is formal, semi-formal, or informal. Okay. Now let's learn the way to be able again to write a letter or informal letter about this prompt. Now the instructions are saying write a letter to your friend. Now in my letter I have to, number one, I have to thank him or her for the invitation. Okay. Second, I have to explain why I cannot come. Okay. Third, I have to ask that friend about other time just to come and to accept another invitation. The third step, Amlina, you have to do is you have to look at the bullet points. This is bullet point, Amlina. How many bullet points I have in the letter? Two, three, four. Count the bullet points because, Lina, every bullet point is one single paragraph. So I have three bullet points. I have to write three paragraphs in my letter. If I have only two bullet points, I have to write only two paragraphs. One, one, four, four. So it depends on the bullet points that will be asked in your letter. So three. Now let's learn how to write three paragraphs for the informal letter. Again, just to achieve, as I told you, the unity and the coherence in my writing. Okay. So now I decided the paragraphs that I have to write. Okay, now next is what? Write at least 150 words. Lina, at least you have to write 150 words, and maximum you have to write 165. Maybe, Lina, you're going to ask me, how does the examiner really know the amount of words that I'm going to use? Uh, Lina, the examiner is not going to count the words like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the words, the amount of lines is not like that. The examiner is going to count the lines. What do I mean? Lina, if I want to open the paper, the written paper on your exam, that is it. Okay, let me show you the example. This is writing. Okay, okay. Let's open this page. Now let's imagine that this is your worksheet that you have to use it in writing. Okay. Lina, the paper is specified for the examiner to count the lines. Again, what do I mean? The examiner is going to follow this way. The examiner is going to say 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, like this. I know, Lina, that maybe you want to ask me, what if I want to write half a line? Maybe I want to finish here and start another paragraph. Here, the examiner is going to count it as 5. So 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 65 here. So he will write on the margin 65 words, because again, every one line should be 10 words. Because the paper, Amina, is specified just to write 10 words. Maybe you're going to ask me, Amina, what if I want to make my writing a little smaller just to write more words? I know some students, Lina, did that before. And because they did that, to be honest, they did not find extra ideas to write. This is number one. Number two, you need more minutes. This is number one. Number two, what if I want to write bigger words in the line? Again, in this way, you will not fully answer the bullet points, Amlina. So please, don't be smarter than the examiners and than the IELTS organization, because they know what they are doing and they know everything that you're thinking in. So please be that rational student and use the ordinary writing, your handwriting as it is, because again, to be honest, we are not smarter than them. So you don't have to do that, because again, you will destroy your band. Okay. Okay. Let's go back. Okay. So again, you have to write at least. Please don't write less. Dina, if you want to write less than 150 words, the third paragraph will be missing. What do I mean? Absolutely, you will lose your marks. What if I want to write more than 165? Again, the examiner will not read the extra lines. Again, the third paragraph, the order of third paragraph will be destroyed. So again, please, it is extremely important to stick with the rules, because this is the number one that you have to do. Okay, now next, you don't have to write any address. Notice Lina is capitalized, and you will find it bold in the IELTS exam. Why it should be capitalized and written in bold type? Because the examiner is going to tell you, please don't. If you want to mention any address, you will lose your mark. Don't do that. It's extremely important, Lina, to stick with the rules, because it's something extremely important. Okay, now I have to begin my letter as dear. Now I have to write the name here, the addressee, or the person that I'm writing the letter to. Okay, now let's learn, Amlina, the best way to write the best paragraphs about these 3 bullet points. Okay, now again, the first step, I have to do is to write the outline. Please, because again, writing the outline will not make you off. Please try to specify 2 to 3 minutes to write the outline because you have to stick with the outline. You don't need, again, just to be off because this has happened to me before. I thought that I will exploit the minutes and I thought that I am the professional one. I don't have to write an outline, but I was wrong and I lost my marks, to be honest. Please don't do the same. You have to write the outline, write the main ideas. When finished writing the first paragraph, look at the second main idea, write about it, and look at the third one and write about it. In this way, you will be online, you will not be offline. Okay. So after writing the outline, you have to take a look again at the first bullet point. What should I do here? I have to thank that friend for the invitation. The, the sentence number one, Dina, is thanking that friend. Let me show you. So the letter is saying, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your invitation. So this is the first thing that I have to do. If I have to thank anyone, please write it in the beginning and it should be the first sentence. So I have to, again, stick with the rules and I have to fully answer the bullet points because it's extremely important. So thank you, my friend, for your invitation. It's really, sorry, no, maybe this is wrong. Okay. It's really generous offer, or it's really a generous offer. I have to delete this. Maybe it's repeated in the wrong way. Okay. It's a really generous offer to put me up at your place in Tokyo, for example. I'd really like to come, and it's very kind of you, but unfortunately, I won't be able to come or to make it because my schedule is totally full. Let me tell you something, Lina, before completing writing the informal letter. I need you to notice something here. Notice that the writer used abbreviations, used contractions. Notice the I'd, notice the it's, notice the want. In the informal, it is a must to use them. Please use them in the informal. But in the formal, please don't use any abbreviation. Don't use any contraction in the formal. This is the first and the main difference between the formal and informal. So please use contractions in the informal, but don't use any contraction in the formal because again, you will lose your marks. So notice this is the best way, Dina, just to thank my friend in for the invitation. I need you to notice something, Dina, if I want to go back. Notice that the second one, I have to explain that I cannot come. I don't have to mention anything about I cannot come only in the second bullet point or the second paragraph. So notice that this is number one. I'm talking in general. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot come. I did not here go into details. In the second paragraph, yes, you have to go into details. Please, again, don't do the opposite because he will destroy the order of the letter and absolutely you will lose your marks. Lina, even let's imagine that you're uh, maybe you're angry with your husband, for example, and you want to talk with your mom just to tell your mom about your husband, for example. And let's imagine that you want to call her, call your mom, again, just to tell everything that happened to you between you and your husband. You cannot, Lina, in the beginning, in the first second of the call, my husband is bad. He did this and this. Come on. You have to say, how are you, mom? Hi, I hope that you're fine. How are you doing? How is your work? How is your father? Then you can go into details and you can complain, for example. Because to be honest, if you want to directly talk about your problems, maybe your mom will not complete talking to you and you will be impolite maybe. So this is the same. Dina, please, you have to hear write the general info, and second, you can here go into details. Okay, so this is the first paragraph I need you to write. But one thing, Lina, I have to tell you because this is really important. Lina, let's talk about the structure you need to follow in writing the letter. Not only the letter, Lina, but also in writing the essay. You have two ways to write in the letter and the essay. You can leave half an inch here, then start writing. But if you want to leave half an inch, do not skip a line here. If you don't want to leave any half an inch, if you want to start immediately writing next to the margin, please, you have to skip a line. This is extremely important because, Lina, the first step that the examiner is going to look at is your structure. Again, you have only two ways. Is number one, you can immediately start writing without leaving any half an inch like here. But in this way, please, you have to skip a line between paragraphs. And okay, let me explain the structure. After writing the greeting, Amrina, notice here that dear, any name you want. I skipped a line. This is number one. I have to begin writing the first bullet point, first paragraph. Okay, when finished, full stop. I have to skip a line. Then I have to start writing the second paragraph. When finished, full stop, skip a line again, and write the third paragraph if the bullet points are three. When finished, skip a line and write the ending expression here or the ending here. Skip a line again, write your sign off here. Skip a line and you have to write your name in one single line. So this is the structure that you have to follow in writing your letter. Any mistake in the structure, please, because this is extremely important. So again, write the greeting, skip a line, write the first paragraph, skip a line, second one, skip a line, third one, skip a line. If you want to write the ending here, please, again, you have to skip a line, write the ending here, skip a line, sign here, skip a line, and skip a line, okay, and write your name in one single line, sorry, because this is the structure again that you have to follow in all kinds of letters, Amrina, not only the formal, but formal, informal, and semi-formal. Okay, now let's take a look at the second bullet point and let's see the best way to fully answer the second bullet point. So notice the second bullet point is saying, now I have to explain why I cannot come. Now I have to go into details. Okay. Now I've noticed the abbreviation again, Amdina. I've just started. So notice have started. This is present perfect. Why? Because again, the tense here is the present perfect. So sticking with the tense is extremely important. Okay. I've just started a new teaching job. This is the first reason why I cannot come. And I've been working. Notice the present perfect continuous. I've been working all the day. It's again abbreviation. Been really hard! Exclamation mark. I don't mean to complain, but I've been enjoying it really hard, and the school that I'm working in right now, yes, I'm working at, yes, is actually our old high school, comma, which has been a lot of fun. Do you remember Mrs. Brown? Yes, she's actually my supervisor, question mark. Okay, now the second thing, Rina, I need you to notice in writing the second paragraph. Notice in the second paragraph, I can use some funny expressions or explaining your time that maybe you have that fun. This is number one. Number two, you have to ask the questions. Notice, do you remember Mrs. Brown? And you have to answer the question. What do I mean, Lina? Lina, let's imagine that you want to prepare a party, for example, and maybe you want to invite your friend. for that party. Maybe your friend maybe could not be able just to come. After that, you want to send another letter for your friend just to explain your party. Maybe you want to ask the your friend, do you still remember that man that we have been studying at the university? I think he came to my party that day. So notice you ask the question and you answer the question at the same time. Asking questions, Amdina, in the informal is extremely important because this is the way that you have to do in writing the informal, just to tell the examiner that I know this person very well. We have memories with that person. Okay. So again, notice the problems that I cannot come. Lina, I'm teaching. I have a new job and I'm working all the day. So okay, so I'm working. So that's these are the two main reasons that I cannot come because I have a job as I told you and I'm working around the clock. So this is now I went into details. So notice I cannot do that in the beginning because it will be something strange and again you will destroy the order of your letter. So skip a line. Now you have to go back at the third bullet point. You have to read it, understand it. Then you have to begin fully answering the third bullet point, which is saying, now I have to ask my friend about other time just to come. Now I have to ask, Lina, um, if you have asked in the informal, I have to ask in a certain way. But if you have to ask in the formal, the question will be different. Now, let me explain the difference between both ways in asking a favor or asking something maybe from your friend. Okay, now let's see the way that I have to ask my friend or that friend for the other time to come. Now, could you let me know of another time just to visit you? So notice the question here. Notice the ask. So ask, okay, this is a question. Please, Lina, if the bullet point is talking about ask, at least you have to write one question. Can you please tell me another time just to come because of the school holidays? Yes, I'll be free in the new year. Yeah, I know that I'm busy and I'm working around the clock, but still I have holidays. I can come. So I'll be free in the new year and I'll also be free in winter. So if you're available then, yes, okay. I'd certainly love to come or escape the cold and to come just to visit you. So notice again, this is the best way that I have to fully answer the bullet points. After finishing writing the third paragraph, please you have to write the ending. I can't wait to hear from you. Lina, this is extremely important. If you want to write your ending and you have to sign off here, your friend. Notice here that I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear from you. Here, this is informal. I mean, you cannot say sincerely because your letter will be wrong. Sincerely, it's for formal. Best wishes is for semi-formal. I am looking forward to hearing from you is formal. So please, if the letter is informal, you can use such endings. For example, see you again. Please write for me back. You can say, I can't wait to hear from you. You can say, call me soon. You can say, see you soon. So in this way, the ending is correct with the informal. But with the formal, you cannot say, I see you soon. Come on, the professor is not your friend just to say, I see you soon. So this is the second main difference in writing the formal and informal. So notice in the informal, for example, you cannot say sincerely, you cannot say best wishes, you cannot say again, I'm looking forward to hearing from you because again, this is wrong. So sign off, Amrina, by writing your friend. Don't forget, if you want to sign off, to use the comma, not the full stop. And after dear, the name, or any nickname, use the comma again, not full stop. Then please skip a line and write your name in one single line. Okay. Okay, now let's discuss the structure I told you. So, Lina, I have to tell you something extremely important. Wait. Lina, I have something in the letter which called equality or equality. Let me show it to you. Okay, maybe here. If it is not here, I'm going to, yes. Lina, one of the tips that give each bullet point equal attention. What do I mean, Lina, here? Notice if I want to go back to the letter, I'm sorry again. The letter here, notice the first paragraph. Notice one, two, three lines. The second one, one, two, three, four. The third one, one, two, three. The equality here is great. The paragraphs should be equal. What do I mean, Amrina? Don't write one line in the first paragraph and write five, for example, in the second one and write two here. In this way, you will be penalized. I mean, you will get the zero, Amrina, please. If you want to write three, write two, three, four, five, and again three, four, five here. Don't write one, then write six, maybe write three, because you will destroy the equality in writing. And you are not a kid, to be honest. Just write like this. Lina, you know what? I think I still remember that one of my students sent a certain homework from me. Let me remember where that student wrote, to be honest, wrote an amazing letter, but he destroyed the equality. Let me check. Give me only 1 minute. Uh, Holy God, where did I put it? I need just to show it to you because this is important. Okay. Um, Holy God. Let me try to remember. Okay. I don't remember exactly, but I still remember, Lena, that one of my students wrote a homework for me, a letter. The ideas, Lena, were amazing. Everything were perfect, but he destroyed the equality of the letter, and this is totally wrong. Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot find it. Okay, let me go back. Okay, structure. Yes, I have explained this. Yes, so this is the way that I have to thank my friend. Then I have to explain why I cannot come. So notice here that the signing off, the closing statement, and finally my name. Okay, now the tips, Abdina, that I don't really need you to forget is number one, please plan before writing because this is extremely important. Because Lina, you don't need to be off, and it is easy for us to be off because this is us, to be honest. Use the person's first name. No, wait, yes. Start with a friendly greeting. Okay, as I told you, use contractions, as I told you, Lina, as much as you can, because this is informal. Use exclamation points and question marks too much. Keep in mind, Lina, I have to use the exclamation marks after funny expressions, after surprising information, for example, if you want to say something surprising for your friend, maybe you want to tell your friend, for example, do you still remember that man that we were at the university? Now he is my husband, for example. So using exclamation mark is extremely important because don't forget this is informal. It's not formal. Use your imagination. I still remember, Lena, that one of my students, to be honest, he was weak. The level of his was really weak. He was trying to memorize the letters. Lena, I still remember that in grade 5 and 6 because, to be honest, I was bad at English. I was trying to memorize the homework just to be able to because I don't know I to be honest I did not know the grammar things, so I have been trying just to memorize the homework. The problem of memorization, Dina, if you want to write the first paragraph, for example, if you want to forget a certain word, you will not be able to complete. This is the problem of memorization. So please don't memorize and use your imagination. You have to be creative because this is the goal of uh, the writing module. It's not to test your memory, but to test your using your words, the imagination that you're going to use, the creativity that you are. So this is the point again of writing. Please don't forget that. Use phrasal verbs, idioms, as I told you, it's really important. Avoid formal connected words. No, no, it's not important. No. So yes, okay. Not I told you I look forward. It's formal. Please don't use it. Can't wait to see you. See you soon. See you again. So all these things you can use them in the informal. So I mean I think this is the end of writing the informal. I don't think that it's that hard. It's really easy, but you have only just to follow the rules just to be able to write any kind of informal. And I'm sure that you're going to do that. Are you okay, Amlina?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes.
Everything is fine.
Lina, absolutely. I'm going to send a homework for you and for Ahmed just to write an informal letter. I need to check your writing tomorrow because I'm thinking to teach you some lessons about grammar, but I cannot do anything now until checking your writing. Maybe you want to commit some mistakes in certain places. In this way, yes, I think we have to discuss these things. So, Dina, I don't know if you will be able to write the letter till tomorrow, if you have free time to write it.
Yes, I will do it.
It's not that hard.
Yes.
So if you have any question, you can ask me.
Okay. So I'll send it to you, or we will discuss it in the session.
No, in this session.
Okay.
Because Lina, one positive thing I really love in courses, not private lessons, if we have 3 or 4 students, I think all of you will learn from your mistakes. This is the
Okay, that's
yes,
fine.
this is the good thing in the groups. So this is my point. I need to check your writing. Maybe Ahmed uh, will learn something from your mistakes, and maybe you will learn something from Ahmed's mistakes. It's extremely important to do while we are here, because you have to be alive, Lena, and you have to be with me while explaining. In this way, you will not forget all the things that I'm going to tell you.
Okay. So we have to write it on a paper, then send it to you, and you will display it on your screen.
Yes,
And
this
you
is what is going on exactly. Please, because Lena, you were going just to apply for the
But
paper
I was
base.
thinking that maybe we have to type it, or but it's better to be on a paper.
Lena, you're going to apply for the paper based.
Yes, of course.
I need you to practice writing. Please use your hands. It's better than using the file.
Okay, so I'm gonna write it on the paper and send it to you. And in the session, you will put it on the screen and discuss
Exactly.
it together.
Exactly. Please, Amina, try to use good handwriting.
Yes, I will.
Yes. And if you want to take a picture, if you're writing, please take a clear picture just to be able to see it while discussing the letter.
Okay, I will.
Lina, I'm not afraid from the letter because I'm afraid from the essay, to be honest.
Okay. So
So,
we have the formal letter is more challenging maybe.
yes, the formal is challenging because you have to be careful in writing the expressions, the greeting, and the closing statement. This is the only difference, and you have to be polite in the formal because again, the professor, for example, or your boss is not your friend. To say, "Do you remember that?" and "Do you remember that?" and these things, or to say funny things. You cannot say funny things in the formal Lena. Anyway, absolutely, I'm going to explain. But first of all, I need to check your writing, and I need just to be sure that you're ready to begin discussing the formal. So please try to finish writing the informal letter tomorrow, just to be able to start discussing the formal because you don't, Amrina, we don't have enough time just to do.
Yes,
Yes, this is the problem anyway.
yes.
So I hope just to be able to finish writing it till tomorrow.
Okay.
Any question, Amrina?
No, no questions.
Let me thank you so much, Amrina, for being here. And let me wish a good night for you. And absolutely, I'm going to send the link of this video and the homework that you have to write the letter about.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amrina.